Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for the Tech Guy is provided by CacheFly. CacheFly.com. Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is our Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Networks on Sunday, June 21st, 2015. This is episode 1198. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is the best way to create a beautiful website or online store. Start your trial before June 30th and get a free year of custom email and business tools on their professional or business plan. Plus, enter the offer code TechGuy and you'll get 10% off. Squarespace, build it beautiful. And by Casper, an online retailer of premium mattresses for a fraction of the price, because everyone deserves a great night's sleep. Get $50 off any mattress purchase by visiting casper.com/techguy and entering the promo code TechGuy. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Time to talk computers and the internet and home theater and smartphones, smartwatches, digital photography. In fact, Chris Marquardt, our photo guy, will be here about an hour and a half from right now, right in the smack dab in the middle of the show. Phone number, if you want to join in, is 888-827-5536. You'll be talking to H-Bomb, Heather Hammond, answering the phones. You know, easy way to remember it, though, 8888 Ask Leo. What a coincidence. That's amazing, isn't it? That spells that. 88, how did we do that? 8888 Ask Leo. There's a website, too, and I encourage you to make a note of that, because you will hear things on the show that you'll wish you had written down, or you'll say, wait, hold on. And all of it goes to the website, so you don't really have to memorize anything. TechGuyLabs.com. Tech Guy Labs. I'm the tech guy. These are my labs. Imagine me in a white lab coat with beakers and Bunsen burners and goggles and making, that's it, Tech Guy Labs. I think that was actually the cover of one of my books. Leo Laporte's 2004 Computer Almanac. I was out of beakers and rubber gloves and goggles. TechGuyLabs.com. And, of course, we talk about anything with a chip in it, anything computers and the internet and all that stuff, but anything technological. Well, you getting excited about Windows 10? We're about a month off. Windows 10 will be available free for everybody who runs Windows 7 or Windows 8. That's pretty much everybody. On July 29th. They've announced also, and this is interesting, I wonder if you can, that if you are in the Windows Insider program, which is a free program, you will get a copy of Windows for free, too. The Windows Insider program was Microsoft's way, is, I think, still, of testing Windows 10 on the desktop, Windows Phone 10, or Windows Mobile 10, I guess they're calling it, on the smartphone. And you can get into the program. Yeah, you still can. Quick, insider.windows.com. You have to have a Microsoft account. But here's the shocker, the surprise. It sounds like the upshot of this is they're essentially giving away Windows 10 to anybody who wants it. Sign up for the Windows Insider program. Download an ISO of Windows 10, or you can, there's various ways you can install it through the store. And then when Windows 10 comes out for reals on the 29th, you'll be upgraded. And according to Microsoft, as long as you're running an Insider Preview build, the build does not ask if you have a previous version of Windows, so anybody can do this. As long as you're running an Insider Preview build and connected with the MSA, the Microsoft something account, Microsoft Services account, you use to register. That's, your Outlook.com account. You will receive Windows 10 final release build and remain activated. Once you have successfully installed this build and activated it, you will also be able to clean install on that PC from Final Media if you want to start over fresh. And it kind of implies maybe there's something they're leaving out, like, and then we'll ask you for your Windows 7 or 8 serial number. I don't know. But it kind of implies you can get Windows 10 for free. Microsoft really is committed to everybody upgrading to Windows 10. They want it for developers. They want to be able to say to developers, we have 1.5 billion users, so go ahead and write that Windows 10 app. Wow. It's coming soon. Well, we could talk about that if you want, whether you should wait to buy a Windows 10 PC. I don't think so. Taylor Swift wrote a love letter to Apple. Well, she says to Apple, love Taylor, but it might not be exactly interpreted. Could be construed as not anything but a love letter. In fact, it almost sounds like Taylor wants to break up. It wouldn't be the first time. I write this, she writes on her Tumblr, to explain why I'll be holding back my album, 1989, from the new streaming service Apple Music. What? She did this to Spotify, too, didn't she? I feel this deserves an explanation because Apple has been and will continue to be one of my best partners, blah, blah, blah. I respect the company, blah, blah, blah. But I'm sure you're aware Apple Music will be offering a free 3-month trial to anyone who signs up for the service. That's when it comes out. That's when you get iOS 8.4 on your Apple device or Windows. If you have iTunes for Windows, you'll get it. Or Android later this fall. Although I'm told Android will not have a 3-month free trial. But if you have the Apple device and you get the Apple Music with 8.4 later this month, she says, I'm not sure you know, she's talking to you, not Apple, because I think Apple probably knows this, that Apple Music will not be paying writers, producers, or artists for those 3 months. That means if there's a hit record, she actually has a point. If there's a hit record that comes out, the song of the summer, whatever that will be, that comes out in 3 weeks, and everybody listens to it on Apple Radio or Apple, whatever that is, Apple Music for 3 months, the songwriter, the performer, the producer get nothing, diddly. Apple says, no. I find it to be, says Taylor, shocking, disappointing, and completely unlike this historically progressive and generous company. Wow. Now, she says, this is not about me. Thank you, Taylor, because it isn't. I'm on my 5th album, and I can support myself, my band, my crew, my entire management team by playing live shows. In other words, she's saying, I don't need you, Apple. But this is about the new artist or band that has just released their first single and will not be paid for their success. It's about the young songwriter who just got his or her first cut and thought that the royalties from this would get them out of debt. It's about the producer who works tirelessly to innovate and create. Just like the innovators and creators at Apple are pioneering in their field, but will not get paid for a quarter of a year's worth of plays on his or her songs. You know what? Taylor does kind of have a point there. It's why she pulled her album 1989 off Spotify. She told Spotify, look, if you want, you can put it on the paid tier, but you can't put it on the free tier. Spotify has ad-supported music, it's free. And I think the artists, I don't know, I guess the artists don't get any or don't get much money from Spotify for those plays. She says, I don't want to be free if you pay for it, because I put a lot of work into this. And Spotify said, no, it has to be on both. She said, well, then it can't be on either. Mm-hmm. And I guess she's doing that to Apple. These are not the complaints. She knows what Twitter's going to say. So she says, these are not the complaints of a spoiled, petulant child. I am not a spoiled, petulant. These are the echoed sentiments of every artist, writer, and producer in my social circles who are afraid to speak up publicly because we admire and respect Apple so much. We simply do not respect this particular call. I realize Apple's working toward a goal of paid streaming. See, this is going to be the problem. I think the record industry in general, and many artists, but not all, and I know Taylor feels this way, but not all artists agree with her. But many artists, see, a lot of artists say, look, I consider that publicity just like radio airplay was basically free publicity. You get a little bit for it. The performer actually on radio does not get any money. ASCAP BMI fees go to the songwriter. I once asked the captain of Captain and Tennille how he felt about music piracy. He said, I don't know, ask Neil Sedaka. That's the guy who's losing money. He wrote all our songs. But I think the record industry wants to put all of these streaming services out of business, not just Apple Music, but Spotify and Tidal and everybody else. And they'd like to go back to the days where you bought a CD? Anybody? Any takers on that? See, I think the horses left the barn. I think those days are gone. I think many artists say, look, it's publicity, and then I make it up in touring and selling merch. I'll sell you my T-shirt for $45 at the concert. I'm sure that's what Taylor does. What do you think? 8888 Ask Leo. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Your calls are next. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. 888-827-5536. I love helping people out with tech. I think if you ask me, what's my job here? It's, of course, to entertain, but also to inform, and mostly to help you get the most out of technology. I'm a fan, kind of a technology buff, have been ever since I got my first computer in '78, and started writing for computer magazines back then, and just it's always been a thing for me. And I kind of get it. I kind of like it. I feel like I kind of understand how it all works, having watched it from the beginning. And I like if I can, to help you, acknowledge that this stuff doesn't work very well. It's hard to use. Oftentimes they sell you a bill of goods they can't live up to. But ultimately, this stuff can change the world. So I like to help, or your life, and I like to help you do that. So that's what I'm here to do. 8888 Ask Leo, and there are no dumb questions. And in fact, I prefer dumb questions. First, it makes me look smart. Second, it's the question everybody else is thinking, but says, I must be the only one to understand this one. This is dumb. No, I think you're probably in a large group. Let's start off here in Platteville, Wisconsin. Marcus is on the line. Hi, Marcus. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hey, Leo. Long-time listener to Twit and the show.
Thank you. Twit is, I should explain, my podcast network. He's not calling me a name, folks. It stands for This Week in Technology. You Twit. What can thank you. Though.
I've been listening to you since it was a cottage, so It's been a long time.
People thought I was doing it in my basement. But
weren't you?
No. I just looked that way.
I have a question for you that I'm thinking might stump you.
That wouldn't be hard, believe me.
Here on the 7th of June, I'm going to be getting what's called the cochlear Baha hearing aid.
Interesting. Now, I know about cochlear implants. What is a Baha?
It's bone-anchored hearing aid. Baha stands for bone-anchored hearing aid. They actually drill a hole into my skull.
Okay.
Put in a titanium implant that partway sticks out of my head, and then I get what's called they call it a processor.
Yeah.
That clips onto it, and it's because my outer ear and my middle ear have stopped working,
right.
But my inner ear still works.
It's very cool. Up until now, hearing aids were basically amplifiers. If Grandpa can't hear you, speak louder.
Well, the fun part about this, and the way my otolaryngologist or ear, nose, and throat doctor told me, is it basically turns my skull into a speaker.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
it's bone conductance.
Yep. Now, my question is, I do a lot.
By the way, somebody in our chat room, Tim Elliott says Baha also stands for what they do when they tell you how much it costs.
Yeah, really.
It's expensive.
Yes, it is.
But now, can you hear? You can hear. Obviously, you're hearing me, so you can hear a little bit.
I can hear in my left ear. My hearing is not too bad in my left ear. My right ear, I have lost 90% of my hearing.
Right.
But it's been like my right ear. I've already had roughly 30 surgeries on that ear, and there's just nothing they can do anymore.
Now this is kind of midway between a cochlear implant, which kind of replaces the hearing with computer processing, and goes directly to nerve endings. This is taking the bones in your skull and using them to get the vibrations to the inner ear, and then your auditory nerves, which are still functioning, can take over.
Yep. With the cochlear implant, it's where your cochleus or your inner ear, it's actually stopped working.
Right. It's quite a miraculous thing. People who have never heard or who've gone deaf at a young age, hearing for the first time in their memory, and you maybe seen the videos on YouTube if you haven't. It's dramatic.
Oh, they gave me a tester unit for about 2 hours, and it just kind of pressed against your head really, really tight.
Yeah.
And I started crying because I hadn't heard out of that ear in years.
Oh, that's great.
And then they sent me up to the waiting room with it on, and there were kids in there, and it was just too much.
It was too loud. Well, that's the best part of a hearing aid. Can you dial it down? Can you?
Of course.
What?
That's what I told the wife. When she starts getting after me, I can just turn it down.
Turn it down. So, what's your question? That's a fascinating technology. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Oh yeah. Well, what I'm wondering is the unit that I'm going to be getting is called the Baja 5. It's the newest unit that they have. It just came out middle of April or so, and it is actually Bluetooth enabled.
Wow.
And
wow.
My question is I like to play games on like Minecraft and that kind of stuff on my computer.
Yeah.
Well, with that, I would only get mono sound.
Right, one ear.
What I'm looking for is to get another Bluetooth, not hearing aid, but like a regular one that you would use for your phone.
Yeah.
Put it in my left ear and get stereo sound. Is there any way to do that?
Yeah, because see, here's the problem. Yeah, you could easily pair your new Baja implant to the computer and hear in that ear via Bluetooth. Mm-hmm. And you could easily get a Bluetooth for your other ear and hear through Bluetooth. The problem is getting them both to work, because that's essentially what you're telling the computer is play the left channel on one Bluetooth device, play the right channel on another Bluetooth device. And I'm not sure, I don't think that is enabled in any way. That's an interesting issue. You can play right into the implant.
Yes.
Because it's Bluetooth.
Yes.
But that's only one ear.
Correct. I've been looking this up since the middle of April when I got the surgery, and I can't find anything. I even went on the Know How Google Plus site.
Yeah, I love this question.
Told you it might stump you.
Yeah. I mean, certainly your computer can pair to multiple devices, but it never can play to two. It can only play to one at a time.
Correct.
So I think what do you think, John?
Go to a device that goes to two Bluetooth devices.
He's saying go to a device that goes to two Bluetooth devices. I don't know what there is that would do that. I mean, when you pair it, you can pair 8 phones sometimes to your computer or 8 things to your computer, but only one is active at a time. Mm-hmm. That's the problem. I guess
if they made anything.
What would be great. I wonder if you could do this. If you could play it through your speakers, so you get the full left and right, and through that Bluetooth implant. Then you would hear the stereos in the room. But
I would also keep the wife up at night.
She can't turn her hearing aid down, huh?
No.
I am putting this out to the chat room because I can't think of a way to do that, but they're very creative. They might come up with something. You say you've already asked the Know How Google Plus group. That's another good creative crowd there, and they're a bunch of makers and creators, and still no answer there either, huh? I think it's a limitation of how Bluetooth works.
Huh.
John says no. Well, I'm gonna take a break. Tell you what, keep listening.
Okay.
And we'll see if we can find an answer for you, and we'll also put it in the show notes at techguylabs.com. And if you have an answer, you can put it in the comments there.
Okay.
Synchronization might be a problem, but I think you could live with that a little bit. But the question is, can you use 2 output devices at the same time? Leo Laporte, the tech guy. So John says he knows how he can do this.
Well, there are Bluetooth transmitters, like $30. So you buy 2 Bluetooth transmitters. One pairs to one thing, one pairs to the other thing.
He's saying you get 2 Bluetooth transmitters.
Right. So if you got an analog out.
And you pair the. Oh, I see. So I see what you're saying. So you take the audio out of the. This might work. You take the audio out of the computer, and you take the left channel. You need 2 devices.
I have to confirm they have analog in. You have to find a Bluetooth transmitter
with analog in. You only need 1 Bluetooth.
No, you need 2.
Oh, because he wants to have yeah.
So you compare to 2 devices.
Yeah, and what you probably would want to do is do A2DP on the good ear, because you don't want to use a Bluetooth headset. You need it to be A2DP, so it's good quality sound.
But you go to Amazon and look for, or just Google Bluetooth transmitters.
Sony makes one. An
Yeah. So you get two of them.
Right.
Because those are not a problem, and you can pair your hearing aid to the right one, and then pair whatever you're using on the left ear to the left one. That would make sense. So that's a Bluetooth.
So you're right about sync.
Sync, well, but that's not going to be awful. Let's go to Amazon. You say Sony makes a Bluetooth.
Sony makes an analog.
I just put Bluetooth transmitters.
Transmitter.
I use my hint for basically hearing aid.
Yeah. The problem with the hint and all those things is they're using the headset profile of Bluetooth, which isn't high quality. It's fine for spoken voice, but if you want to hear music, you want to use A2DP, and there's a new. Okay, let's look at this Sony here. This is expensive. It does have analog in. That's what we want.
Yeah,
So there's on Amazon a $30 one.
It's like,
Well, that's analog right there.
yeah, exactly.
So, okay. So here's what you want. This is called the StreamBot 2-in-1 wireless Bluetooth audio music streaming switchable, and it's $28. So what you do is you split your headphone out of your computer, and that'll give you 2 channels. You get 2 of these. You put 1 into each channel, and then you pair these things individually. And what I would do, though, is, and I'm sure this will support it, let's see, is A2DP. You want to make sure, yeah, this does music, so it's going to do music quality. Yeah, A2DP. So that's what you want. You want to be able to do A2DP. There's a new music standard I just saw. Monoprice has this for less. Of course they do. The Monoprice splitter's $20, says the chat room. Same thing. In fact, I bet you it's exactly the same device because it sure looks the same. Monoprice Bluetooth splitter, $20. So for $40, you get 2 of these. What a clever idea. Thank you, John. Phasing, I don't think is going to be an issue because you've got 2 ears. Actually, one doesn't have to be Bluetooth, does it? It could just be headphones. You're right. The good ear, just use headphones. They're not going to sync very well.
Yeah, that's the same. I'm concerned about the sync.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888. Ask Leo. Leo is the phone number. Yeah, I think we got an answer for our caller from Wisconsin, Marcus. Thanks to John, my studio engineer. Of course, Jammer B would know the answer to that. He's a studio engineer. He says, okay, easy. What you get, and we found them on Monoprice for about $20. They're on Amazon for about $27. You're looking for a Bluetooth transmitter, and you'll need to buy 2 of those, or you can, actually, you don't have to, but you could get 1 Bluetooth transmitter, 1 headphones, but you're going to split the analog audio out of your computer. You're not going to use your computer to do the Bluetooth. That's what stymied me. You don't need to. So you split the audio coming out of your computer, the stereo audio, left and right. One of them you could just put into headphones and put that on the good ear. The other you put to a Bluetooth transmitter. They're about $20, as I said, on monoprice.com, $27 on Amazon. And that you'll pair to your new cochlear hearing aid implant, your Baha. And now the sync might be an issue. In fact, it may be you want to end up doing 2 Bluetooth devices to make the sync better. I don't know. You'll have to play with it. But you could start with just headphones. And you'll now somebody's saying you have phasing issues. I don't think you're going to have phasing issues exactly because they're headphones or not. But you will have sync issues. It might sound a little weird. But in the game, I don't know if that's going to make a difference. It's worth a try. Thanks for the call, Marcus, and thanks for telling us about that new technology. That's pretty interesting. Cochlear Baha. Aiden is in Hobbs, New Mexico. Hi, Aiden.
Hello, Leo. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. You too.
So my question is regarding domain investing.
What is domain investing?
Like investing into...
you buy a domain name?
Yes.
And hope somebody will come along and buy it for more?
Yes.
Okay. There's another term for that. Domain squatting. I don't think that's a legitimate enterprise, to be honest with you.
Okay, so it's not really worth...
Well, it's also risky. So there were people, in the early days of domain names, yes, people went out and they bought TV.com, radio.com, sex.com. And it turned out that those generic names weren't as useful. The companies wanted their own name. Now, if you went out and bought McDonald's.com, as one of my friends did who worked at Wired Magazine, you're kind of in trouble there because McDonald's just goes to ICANN, the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. They're in charge of all of this. It's an international non-governmental group, and ICANN has a trademark resolution system that will award the domain name for free to the trademark owner. So going out and getting, Kohl's.com or PigglyWiggly.com probably not gonna make you any money. However, and then the problem with generic names is they turned out not to be that valuable. Although very famously, and I think this kind of started the whole thing, Sex.com sold for more than $1 million. Wasn't that useful? Wasn't that great? Playboy.com's worth more than Sex.com, right? So the trademark you can't get. So you're gonna squat or invest in more generic ideas like tunahelper.com. And then hope that somebody comes along and says, boy, I need the name. And people do buy domain names for some money. I don't know if that is, we have to ask an ethicist. Is that ethical? I mean, you call it investing. Others would say, well, he's just registering domain names hoping that he can extort money out of people when they need it. And I think the other thing is that sometimes people look at this askance and go, I'm not giving you any money. I'll just add a W or something.
Right.
So it's kind of my feeling. You could make money. Chat room saying, Jerry in New York says Fox.com went for $5 million. So you could register Fox.com because it's a generic word as well as a brand name. Beer.com went for some money. But I think people are smart now and understand that beer.com is not as valuable as it sounds. Nobody, the truth is the whole domain name system is kind of being bypassed these days because think about how you surf the net. How often do you enter in www.beer.com or even just beer.com? Generally, most people don't because once the browsers started putting search in the address bar, you just type beer, and Google or Bing takes you there. For a while, Google has stopped telling us what they've started to edit what the top searches are. But I remember going to the Google campus some years ago, and they used to have a big TV screen showing all the searches in real time. And you know what the number one search was on Google? Yahoo. Because people didn't type yahoo.com. They just went to the address bar and typed Yahoo. So owning beer.com may not really be worth anything, or even fox.com. Nowadays, people understand that you can't really guess the address anyway. So if I'm going to Monoprice, as I just did, I don't type monoprice.com. I type Monoprice and hit return. All right, here's a list. Somebody found a list. Wow. This might put a lie to what I just said. A list of generic domain names, Insure, I-N-S-U-R-E, like insurance, sold for $16 million, but that was 6 years ago. Sex was $12 to $14 million, but that was 9 years ago. Fund.com, $10 million in 2008. Porn.com, $9.5. So that was, somebody made a lot of money. Somebody wasted a lot of money in 2007. Business.com, $7.5 million. Diamond.com. Ice.com bought them. So Ice sells jewelry, right? In fact, I think they were a sponsor for a while. So Ice sells diamond jewelry. And notice they use the word ice.com. They own diamond.com. But I bet you anything, if you go to diamond.com, it forwards you to ice.com. Nevertheless, they did pay some money for that, $7.5 million. 9 years ago. Beer.com, $7 million in 2004. Israel.com, 2004, $5.8 million. Casino.com, 2003, $5.5 million. Notice most of these were at least 5 or 6 years ago. I don't know. My friend Dane has hey.com, Hey.com. He figures someday, that's his retirement plan. No, not H-A-Y. H-E-Y. Toys.com went to Toys for Us for $5 million in 2009, but I noticed none of these are recent. And I have to say, in the long run, I feel like it's getting less valuable, not more valuable, right? So here you are, you're investing money. It's like buying Beanie Babies. You're investing money in domain names, and the trend is not your friend here. It's going the other way. People are not using domain names. Although .com, I think .com has some value to it. You notice a lot of people, myself included, we use .tv or .net because all the .coms are gone. So maybe there's some value. I feel like, I'm the wrong guy to ask about investing. I'm very conservative. And of course, if you want to make money, you got a wildcat. You got to take a chance. .com. That's an interest. I wonder how much that went for. I would say it's not investing; it's squatting, because you really got to. If you want to make money, what you have to do is figure out, okay, who's going to pay me a lot of money for this domain name? But there is a link, and Roscoe, thank you. We'll put this link in the show notes so you can read the most recent domain name sales and how much they went for. I feel like this is going to encourage somebody. Porno.com sold for $8 million in February. 345.com sold for $800,000 in January. NL.com sold for $575,000. The thing is, it costs $10 to register. You could register 100 names for $1,000 and only have to get one to go bing, ka-ching, and you made some money. So, Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888 Ask Leo. More calls right after this.
If you get a generic one, I think that's just,
It's defensive mostly, right?
Well,
Rangers.com.
But squat, I don't think it's squatting. I think it's squatting if you get like a trademark.
Right. Well, but if somebody got Leo.com,
right, thinking,
someday Leo's going to want this, that's squatting.
Well, there's a lot of Leos.
Yeah, but that's squatting, right?
Okay, but how about
erectiledysfunction.com?
Exactly.
$241,000.
That's not squatting.
No, that's not squatting. I don't know what it is, but it's not squatting.
Well,
it's sitting uncomfortably.
It's taking a chance, like you say. It's
Amber.com, $180,000. Lux.com. Now this one is so that's an interesting thing, because Lux.com is now, of course, Lux, the parking service, and they spent $72,000. So you're right. If you picked the right one.
Yeah, Lux, who would have?
Right.
Who paid? Well, they didn't pay much.
They got $10. They paid.
Three letters.
Yeah. Some of these, who would have expected Ignite.com for $110,000. 9555.com. So somebody bought Rand Paul. So that's squatting. If you bought RandPaul.com and you sold it in May to presumably Rand Paul.
Jeb Bush for president is very funny.
Is it? And it's not Jeb Bush's?
They bought it years ago.
Yeah, see, that's the problem.
It's
BSH.com?
It's a gay couple. And they just, it's about...
Oh, dear. Oh, that's funny.
It is.
NFC.com, $78,000. MITV.com. I think Adam Curry made a significant amount of money from MTV.com. He can't say the deal prevents him from talking about it. NewYorkNightlife.com. Obsessive.com with $50K. Hook? Who would have thought HOOKQ.com would be worth $50,000?
See, that was a chance. Somebody took a chance.
Or it's a Swedish word.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Leo G. Laporte is available. Should I rush and get LeoGLaporte.com?
.tv.
I got LeoLaporte.tv. I got LeoLaporte.net. I can't remember if I have LeoLaporte.com. I don't think I do. Somebody else has that. I don't want Leo G. Laporte. What's that worth? Is that worth anything?
What, these are investments now?
No. I mean, to me. No, to me. I have LeoLaporte.net, TheLeoLaporte.com. I think that's as good as LeoGLaporte.com, TheLeoLaporte.com. That's me. Rachel Maddow routinely buys political figures' domains and holds them, but she'll give them to the person if they ask. So that's not squatting. That's just weird.
Well, or she's protecting it for them.
I think that's weird.
It's publicity.
It's good for her.
It fills her show.
Yeah. I have 8888askleo.com.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. We're talking about domain names. I don't squat on domain names, but I have a lot of domain names. I have like 50 domain names that some of them I'm never going to use. Tunic Time, Fancy Pants. I'm never going to use those. But I have my kids' names. I try to get, you can't, somebody's got leolaporte.com, but I have the leolaporte.com. I own that. It's probably a good defensive move. But again, I don't feel like .com names are going to be around much longer. I think people don't even type the .com. When's the last time you typed .com? Bob in Atlanta, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Bob.
Hey, Leo. How are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm great. I am trying to get a handle on a Microsoft account that I had set up sometime in the past using an AOL address as opposed to a Microsoft. And I was perusing my account information this morning and accidentally selected to read my email and it pulled up a Microsoft.com, and so apparently and inadvertently it allowed me to create an Outlook.com presence without any account. So I'm wondering how I get out of or back away from the creation of this Outlook.com environment in my Microsoft account without disturbing my existing OneDrive, Skype, and desktop applications that are associated with the account.
That's an interesting question. So you're saying that you were on your Microsoft account that's tied to the AOL email.
Correct.
And they said, hey, here's an idea. Would you like to merge this with your Outlook.com?
Well, it said check your inbox is all it said.
That's all it said?
That's all it said. It didn't say check your inbox in Outlook.com, which I had never set up before, and then it immediately took me over to Outlook.com.
Well, by default, anybody with a Microsoft account, even if it's tied to AOL.com, has an Outlook.com address. That's an interesting question. Did it use the whatever came before the @ sign at AOL.com? And then make that at Outlook.com?
No, it pulls up the full AOL address.
Yeah. So it's the same account. So I think you can ignore it. And mail, I don't know how mail would get there, because people who, if they sent mail to at AOL.com, it's going to go to AOL. It won't go to the Outlook account. Was there anything in that Outlook inbox?
No, just the thank you for joining Outlook.com.
And that's the only thing you'll ever get there. So I think there's no harm in this. What they would like you to do is to modify your account so it points to an Outlook.com address, but you didn't do that.
No, I guess if I set up just an alias, then that could be placed in there and just use that as the Outlook.com, the alias.
It's going to be hard for you to get any email there because you don't have a Bob at Outlook.com address.
No.
You have a Bob at AOL.com. Obviously, it's not that.
Yes.
So there's nothing. I'd be very shocked if anything showed up in that inbox ever. What they're really trying to do in a sly way is to get you to convert.
Right. I understand.
But I don't think you've done that, and which means you don't have to worry about it. You can just ignore it.
Right. And what I've read is if you don't, after 2 years, if you have no activity, they're going to drop it off anyway.
Everybody does that now. Yahoo does that too because they want to get these back.
Yes.
Not that there's any limitation to the number of emails people could create. I can't think of any reason unless somebody can give me one in the chat room or call in why that should be a problem. I think they are doing a little subtle encouragement to create an Outlook account, but right now you're still Bob at AOL.com, and that's nothing's changed.
Right. Well, I mean, if I set up another account, then that would be fine for email, but all of my presence in my current
no, because you're using that email address. At some point, I guess AOL's not going away. They're not the healthiest of companies either, though.
No,
at some point, you might want to go through the pain of converting everybody to a different account. My suggestion, and what I do, is I would suggest registering a domain name.
Okay.
And using that to forward your mail. You could do that now. In fact, I would do that now. Get some name that it makes sense to people. It could be Bob at your lastname.com or whatever, and then have that forward for now to AOL. But should you decide to move, it's an easy thing to move because the forwarding, you just change the forwarding and forwards to another account somewhere else. But your correspondence will never again have to have a new email address. It's like a permanent email address.
Okay, so then basically all you have to do at that point in time is just continue to pay for the future registration.
For the registration, it's usually $10 to $15 a year. Some companies charge for email forwarding. Most do not, especially if you know how to set it up directly through the DNS. It does cost you nothing, and that's a nice thing. I'd say what I do. So my email address hasn't changed in almost 20 years because I've been using my domain name.
Right. Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I think no harm in what happened, unless somebody tells me otherwise. I can't imagine Microsoft would do anything about that. They can't. You still have that AOL account. And anybody sends you email, it's going to go to AOL. There's no way Microsoft can steal it. You could forward it there, but they're not going to steal it. I do think it's a great idea, if I were you, anybody who's listening, to kind of have a permanent both email address and phone number now. I use Google Voice. I don't know how permanent that's going to be. I guess I'm dependent on Google, although the Number Portability Act means I think I can move that number somewhere else. You want one number that you just, that's my number forever. Whatever phone I use, whatever my home phone is, whatever my mobile phone, that's my number. And I do that with a Google Voice number. You can actually have that single number forwarded up to 5 different devices. That's very handy. And then the same thing with an email. And don't make the email be Gmail or Hotmail or Outlook or AOL mail. Own your own address. And then forward it to Gmail, Hotmail, AOL, Outlook, whatever it is you want. 8888 Ask Leo. I'm not sure what the best service to do that would be. A lot of companies will charge you for it. What you don't want is to create an email account, where they store your mail. You don't want them to be your email provider. I use Gmail. I want to continue to use Gmail. I just want any mail that goes to, let's say, techguylabs.com. That's a domain name I have registered at a company called Hover, but it would work with, I think, any registrar. And when Hover sees mail coming to leo@techguylabs.com, it forwards it to my Gmail account. So I don't ever have to give out my Gmail address. And if I decide I don't want to use Gmail, I want to use Yahoo Mail, I just change it at Hover, and the forwarding changes. And I think that's the best way to deal with this. If you're a business, it's even better, because as a business, you don't want to be at AOL.com. You want to be at yourbusinessname.com. And that's why domain name investing is such a good business. Happy Father's Day, everybody. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hang on, Dennis. I'm going to get to your call. We got to take a break for news at the top of the hour. A reminder, the website is techguylabs.com. When you go there, there'll be each show day by day. And then within that show, hour by hour 1, 2, or 3. And then within each hour, call by call. So you can drill right down. Look at the call. We've got James writing this all down. So James Deruvo's taking notes. He's writing it all down so you don't have to. There'll be audio and video after the fact, so you can listen to it. You can add your comments to it. And it's all free, no sign up. TechGuyLabs.com. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hey, can I talk about Squarespace real quick? Would you mind? If you're looking to make a website, I got to tell you about Squarespace.com. Best hosting out there. Best software running on the hosting for you to easily, quickly, simply make a beautiful, professional-looking website or blog or online store. Incredible 24/7 customer support right from the Squarespace folks in New York City. It's so fun to set up a Squarespace site, and it's so easy that I'll often do it for just a one-off for a wedding or a baby. My friend Alex would go into restaurants and say, "You don't have a website, but I made one for you while I was eating. If you want it, here it is." That's how easy it is to create a Squarespace website. And because they have a 2-week free trial with no credit card needed, it's easy for you to set up a site for anybody and say, you don't have to keep it, but if you like it, there it is, Squarespace.com. When you use the offer code, tell them to use the offer code TechGuy, because they'll get 10% off on their Squarespace subscription. The templates, the designs, so it's software plus the hosting, right? You get that? So you get the best hosting ever. It's very, very sophisticated. And because they know exactly what software is going to be running, they write the software and they do the hosting, they can optimize it for your site. And that's why a Squarespace site never, never, ever, ever goes down. It's amazing. All the sites are responsive. That means they look great on any size screen. And there's e-commerce on every single site. All of this is just phenomenal. Right now, through the end of the month, through June 30th, so you got about 9 more days, you get a free year of custom email and business tools. Oh, see, on their professional or their business plan. And when you sign up for a year, you get a free domain name. So this is a great way to get the mail thing done, to get the website done, do it all at once. And try it free at squarespace.com. No credit card required. Before June 30th, you'll get a free year of custom email and business tools when you sign up for the Squarespace professional or business plan. And make sure you use the promo code TechGuy, will you? That way you'll get 10% off. And show your support for the show. Squarespace. Build it beautiful. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. We're talking computers, the internet, smartphones, digital photography in about half an hour with Chris Marquardt, smart watches, Apple Watch, Android Wear Watch. A lot of people who kicked in the Kickstarter campaign on Pebble, the Pebble Time. They've started getting them. I did not order one, but I'd be curious if you were one of the early Pebble Time subscribers, or what do they call Kickstarter people's underwriters? And you got your time. I'd love to get a quickie review. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number. Now we go to Dennis in Santa Monica. Hi, Dennis.
Hey, Leo.
Did you see me bicycling down the Strand yesterday?
No, but I Googled the Strand, and isn't it called Casa del Strand?
I don't know. The Strand is in Hermosa Beach, but we started in Santa Monica at the beautiful Del Mar Hotel.
That's what's going on. Okay.
And we rented bikes, and we kept riding until we got to Mexico. No, that was a fantasy I had. We actually only rode a little way, but you live in a beautiful part of the world. I really like Santa Monica. What can I do for you today?
Well, I'm recovering from a couple of things. I'm actually a massage therapist, and by the way, I'm the guy that called a few years ago with the X40 problems.
Yeah.
And you gave me recommendations about how to back up and use Sync Toy. And,
good. Did it help?
And that worked really nicely for a while.
Uh-oh.
And then one of my, I had some hard drive difficulties. So anyway, technical problems.
These things happen to the best of us.
But since I'm so lucky to get you on the phone today, I wanted to mention also Happy Solstice Day. It's unique that today is the 21st, and it's Father's Day as well.
Longest day of the year today. Summer solstice. Happy solstice. Do you celebrate? Are you a druid?
Well, I'm I'm actually a recovering massage therapist because my mom passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But I have some expertise in alternative health and spirituality, and it's kind of a big deal with coincidences like this, I think.
Well, I also think that just a lot of sun is a good thing. I mean, everybody's happier, right? We don't get that sadness that we do when it's dark a lot. So I like the longest day. The only thing I don't like about it is it means now the days are going to get shorter. We're on our way to Christmas.
Yeah, and you're wearing the red and green.
I am, because I am a druid.
Things.
And I went to Stonehenge last night and celebrated. No, I love solstice. But what can I do for you now?
Well, okay. Here's what I'm doing. I'm refurbishing a T61. It's worked out good for me to buy good hardware and then kind of fix it up. But
okay, that's a Lenovo.
It's a Lenovo, and it came with XP, and it came with the recovery discs.
Oh, good.
And then I went through this thing where I got the 64-bit version of Windows 7 from Microsoft, and I went through the loading process.
You might have been better off with a 32-bit version.
Really, because everyone was saying, including Microsoft, to get the 64-bit.
Well, they want you to go 64-bit, but that's a pretty old machine.
Anyway, so I got, I downloaded the system update tool from Lenovo, and that's supposed to make everything easy. And it was kind of easy because it downloaded mostly
until it wasn't. Yes, go on.
And yeah, right. Until it wasn't.
Yeah. If it were easy, you wouldn't be on the phone with me right now, I think.
Yeah, and then I got error codes when Internet Explorer cumulative updates.
Now you're running. Okay, so did you wipe the drive completely, or did you install 7 on top of the old XP?
I just followed the directions, which may not have wiped the drive.
Yeah, I would wipe the drive. So XP cannot be upgraded, IE on XP cannot be upgraded past, I think, 8. So, and the current version is 11 going to 12. On its way. It's a rising 12. So I think the best thing, maybe not to follow those instructions. Remember, Lenovo's instructions are not necessarily to make life better for you. They're to make life easy for them. So what I would do, if you've got a full version of Windows 7, it sounds like you do, and usually if you have the 64-bit on a disk, you also have the 32-bit, but go ahead and try the 64-bit. The only issue would be with some of the hardware and the drivers. The processor's 64-bit, I'm sure. So try installing it, but what I would do first is format the drive, wipe it, clean, and then install Windows 7. And if it all works, you're going to actually have a faster computer running Windows 7 than you would running XP. Uncle Bick says he just had one of those T31s in for service this weekend. Uncle Bick, should he put the 64-bit or the 32-bit on there? That's the only question in my mind. It's no harm trying the 64. You'll know pretty quick if it doesn't work. That's a worthwhile upgrade, though. Happy solstice, Dennis. Michael, Sacramento. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Michael.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Happy Father's Day. You sound like a dad.
No, actually, I'm old enough to be I'm not old enough to be your dad, but older than you. But no, I'm not a dad.
Not a dad. You dodged that bullet, did you?
I'm as smart as your daughter, only older.
My daughter, who's living with smaller children, texted me on Facebook and said, she's in Spain right now. She's living with a family in Spain. She said, I am so glad I don't have to have kids. She's 23. I think she may change her mind, but we'll see.
They're kind of like cats. They're good in theory, but I don't know.
Exactly. Nailed it. Anyway, I'm a dad twice over. My son is 20 and my daughter's 23. I'm very proud of them, and I love them dearly. But, yeah, it's a mixed bag, isn't it?
Well, anyone who listens to you or watches you knows that you're a very proud dad.
I am. I adore my children. They're both doing great. What can I do for you?
Well, as I told the lovely Heather, in April, around April, I'm going to be moving to Italy. I'm going to It sounds more grand than it is. I'm retiring to Italy.
It sounds very grand. Whereabouts in Italy are you retiring?
I don't know.
Tuscany, my friend.
A friend and I are going over there. We'll have a list of places we're thinking of. It's obviously got to be affordable, so it won't be a big city.
Get an old farmhouse in Tuscany.
Well, see, that's why I say it's not that grand. We're talking about a guy who was self-employed all his life.
You're going to be on an alley in Palermo, but you know what? The pizza will be great.
Well, I have a big hat asking for help.
I think retiring to Italy sounds fabulous no matter where you end up.
Exactly.
One of my dreams. I love that idea.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of an odd situation. I know most people couldn't or wouldn't want to do it, but I'm really excited about it.
That's great. And you're not going alone. You're bringing your partner, right?
Well, not a partner, a friend.
A friend. Well, that's even better.
She was born there, but hasn't been back in.
She's Italian.
6 years old. Well, she's getting her citizenship again.
Nice. And does she speak the lingo, as they say?
Sadly, no better than I do.
It's easy.
We're both working at it.
You add O to every word, and it works out great. Airporto. It's easy. Anyway, what can I do for you?
Well, part of it is my phone contract with Verizon is up in November.
Well, now you're moving to Italy, so you don't care because you're going to be getting an Italian phone.
Well, okay, that's exactly what I needed to know from you because I've got the Note 3. I'm pretty tech savvy, so I'm not afraid of the latest.
Get them to unlock that and it probably will work in Europe. The issue sometimes is the radio frequencies, particularly on the LTE band. But it probably will work.
I'm ready for a new one.
Oh.
So what I'm calling for is to ask, would I, and if we have time, I have a second question, but would I be wiser to wait until April, just keep my Note 3 here alive, and then when I get to Italy, deal with the phone there?
That's an interesting question. Let's take a break and address it. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. That's a good question. Because they don't do subsidies in Europe as they do here. But on the other hand, if you did a subsidy, you'd be signing up for 2 years of Verizon hell. I think, well, if you want a new phone, I guess, what would I do? I think maybe get it in Italy, right? Because you want to make sure that it has all the frequencies you need. You want to, and of course, the way to be ensure that is to get it in Italy. You won't have the advantage of a subsidy there. People usually buy phones outright. So it'll be the same expense as if you were buying it unsubsidized here. And you'll obviously get an Italian carrier and an Italian SIM. Note 5 comes out in the fall, says Jerry. You're right. Galaxy S6 is out now. iPhones, too. I mean, you can get the same phones in Italy you can get here. And then some. They have lots of less expensive phones. It's an interesting conundrum. I don't know. Yeah, and you have local help, Rusty points out, which is true. If you get it in Italy, there'll be, you could bring it back to them. You don't want to have to be shipping it back to the States. That's probably the most compelling. That's the best reason to get it when you get there. Man, I want to retire in Italy. Where would you retire if you could?
Oh, my God. Italy sounds good.
Italy sounds great.
But if I'm broke by the time
It's not, well, Italy's not that expensive, and their economy's in the dump, so probably going to get cheaper.
But Costa Rica, you do really well, right?
Well, I'm thinking, or Mexico, or Belize. If you had $1 million and you went to Belize, you could live like a king.
They're building so many communities for American retirees around Cabo San Lucas. Right?
Oh, Cabo's beautiful.
I believe golf communities,
yeah,
etc. And then you're close to the kids ish.
Yeah, that's true. You're at least on the same continent. But I think Tuscany. Oh man, a little farmhouse in the hills of Tuscany.
Now I accused him of calling just to make us all jealous.
I know. I know. And the nice thing is you can still listen to this show in Italy. You won't be disconnected. We have a lot of international listeners. It's kind of cool. Trey Radcliffe had dinner with Trey last night. He moved to New Zealand. I said, well, how is it? Do you miss Austin? That's where he's from. And he said, you know what I miss? sounds bad, but the only thing I really miss is Amazon Prime. He said, you have to wait. You order something, it might take 2 weeks. He said, I really miss Amazon Prime. We are so spoiled. I got Sunday delivery today. I freaked out. I realized, I don't have any transformers or plugs or anything for the trip. Ordered them on Friday. They arrived today. My suitcase arrives on Wednesday. Talk about cutting it close. Well, I realized Abby took my suitcase. This is why you don't want kids. She just took it. It's gone. So all I have is carry-ons. So I have lots of carry-on size, but I don't have any big ones. So I think you found it. The summer song of 2015. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Nathan, when did this song come out? Do you know? Last year-ish. It could still be the summer song, right? It's got that summer song sound. We've been trying to decide what the summer song for 2015 will be. And I don't think there's any really good contenders yet. There's attempts, but but no success. So we were talking before the break with Michael, who is making us all jealous because he's retiring to Italia, and you're going there for the food.
Well, that's certainly part of it.
Mm-hmm.
The entire life is what I'm going there for.
That's nice.
I didn't do it when I was younger. I might as well do it now.
Do it now.
Yeah. I'll never be younger than I am now, will I?
No, none of us will. I love that idea. I've always wanted to retire to Italy. So the phone situation, I think, there's not a lot of difference. Here's the issues that you would want to consider. First of all, you want to be able to support the frequency. I presume you want a smartphone.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So you're going to want to make sure it supports the LTE frequencies in Italy. They do vary around the world. I think most of the European frequencies are the same every time. I've traveled in Europe with my U.S. phone. I've gotten LTE. So I would guess it's the same. The other issue is generally in Europe, they do not subsidize phones as they do here in the States. So you get a phone for $200, you have to sign up for 2 extra years of Verizon. You're going to be paying the full cost of the phone when you buy it in Italy, even if you do it with a carrier. So prepare for sticker shock. $600, $700, $800 on some of these phones. A Note 4 would probably be close to $800. In Italy, I don't even know because of the exchange rate. It might even be more. Often these companies, overcharge because of exchange differences.
You make me think I should set up a GoFundMe account.
Yeah, no kidding. Help me buy a smartphone. Finally, I would mention that, of course, if you buy in Italy, you're much more likely to get service and support. You don't want to have to ship it back.
True.
To the U.S. So I think you should wait. You'll get an Italian carrier. You'll get an Italian number. You'll have to give your friends in the States that new number. I think plans are less expensive in Europe than they are here. So that's the good news. And, you want to have everybody around the world one of the reasons programs like WhatsApp are so popular worldwide is because text messaging in many cases is not unlimited and free. So you should check that carefully.
How about my Google Voice number? Will that work there?
It will not.
Will not. Ooh.
Google Voice is not international. It's only in a few countries.
Okay. May I ask you another question?
Yeah.
In doing this, the first idea, the first blush, it sounds so romantic, move to Italy, but then a lot of reality is coming to play. And I'm wondering, will be other people following in my footsteps, probably, going to other parts of the world?
Yes.
So I'm thinking of doing a video blog or a blog.
Oh, wonderful.
I think it sounds like
Frances Mays did quite well for herself with a year in Provence. I think you should have My Italian Sojourn.
Ooh.
Yeah. I like it a lot. I would be an immediate subscriber.
How would I go about letting people know I'm doing it?
I think a smartphone is a good way towards it. The cameras and especially the video cameras and smartphones these days. This is why remember the flip camera that went out of business because nobody needs one because you've already got it in your pocket and it's better. Frankly, if you've got a Note 4, beautiful quality video, and so I think that's probably all you need. Facebook is in Italy. It's called Facebooko. No, it's not. Facebook is in Italy. Google Photos, I imagine, works in Italy. What's interesting is here you're in the States. We're in a little bit of a tech bubble, and we get everything as these American companies come out with it. But a lot of times they don't go internationally right away. So there may be some limitations. I wish Sarah Lane were here because one of my colleagues, and I know you know her since it sounds like you listen to our shows, did that. She traveled around the world, this was almost 10 years ago now, and blogged and the whole thing, and had a wonderful life blog. The Samsung Note 4, 675 euros in Italy. That's actually about the same as it would be in the States. It's very close.
Okay.
That's thanks to Jerry in the chat room. He checked that out. So I think that's a good choice for you, by the way. If you like the Note 3, I think the Note 4 is even better.
Right. My sister has it, and I really do admire it.
Love it.
Yeah.
And that's obviously you like a big screen. It's even a little bigger. Fingerprint reader, which is good for security. And yeah, you're going to get an Italian number. And I think a lot of the things that you are used to, you'll have going for you there. I think it's a great idea. And call us back and tell us where the blog is.
I will do that. I absolutely will.
Facebook in Italy is called Visage Libre. No, it's not. But I wish it were.
My Italian class.
I wish it were. Visage Libre. Everything sounds better in Italian.
It does indeed.
Oh, I'm jealous. Have a great trip.
Thank you very much. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
take
Thanks
care.
for your help.
Enjoy your retirement. I'm so jealous. Jim in Los Angeles. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Jim.
Hi, Leo.
What can I do for you today?
Man, I wanted to tell you about something. I have an Android Wear watch, and I listen to your podcast. I've been listening to you since the screensavers, actually.
Thank you.
At any rate.
Thank you.
You're welcome. At any rate, I was at someone's home, and we were getting an order ready for some late-night goodies, and they're texting me the list, and we're going to go to McDonald's, so they're texting me a couple
Big Mac, a couple large fries. Yeah.
Exactly. They send the text. I start walking to my car, and I look at my watch, and there's a hamburger on the watch.
What?
Yeah. And it was right after when you were talking on one of your podcasts how Google was kind of scanning all the texts. And
what was it attached to? What program was it attached to? Do you know?
The only thing that makes sense is it might have been a Google Now card.
Oh, I bet it was.
I mean, I don't know what else.
I haven't seen that happen, but why not? It says, "Oh, he's going to McDonald's." If you clicked the hamburger, what happened?
I didn't even get.
Just showing you a hamburger is not much value to anybody. But if they gave you a coupon,
no value. Because one of my friends goes, "Why is there a hamburger on your phone, Jim?" I'm like, "What? Oh my gosh, what is that?"
I don't know what that would be. No, one thing that did happen this week is Snapchat. I don't know if you use Snapchat, but they've started. They did a deal with McDonald's, and when you go to McDonald's and you start a Snapchat, you can, among your stickers, you'll find a Big Mac and fries. And McDonald's pays them for that. Other companies have been doing that as well. So my thought maybe is do you have Snapchat installed on your phone? Maybe that was giving you a little hint. I mean, this is essentially an ad. I haven't tried on Android Wear. I don't know exactly what happens when you install Snapchat on Android Wear. I don't know if you can Snapchat from your watch. Maybe you can. Anybody have any idea why Jim saw a hamburger? It was a hamburger button, they're saying. 80. Give us a call. Tell us. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the number. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. More of your calls coming up right after this. Oh, Chris Marquardt, our photo guy, next. Oh, here we go. Mama, don't take my Kodachrome. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. And that song means it must be time for the photo guy, Chris Marquardt, from the Discover the Top Floor podcast. Tips from the Top Floor podcast. His website, Discover the Top Floor. Hello, Chris Marquardt.
Too many websites. Hi, Leo.
I'm excited. I'll be in your neck of the woods next week. This time next week, right. I'll be in Amsterdam, hopping on a boat.
A few hours west from here.
Yeah, and then I'll be going down to the Rhine River. I'll be in Cologne, which I understand is the #1 tourist attraction in Germany, maybe even all of Europe. Cologne Cathedral.
Cologne is beautiful. Cologne is amazing. Very old town, very old city.
And
beautiful
the cathedral is, they started building it. I've been doing some research. They started building it in 1428. They got bored 300 years later and stopped. They stopped, and the crane on the spire that they left there in 1728 or whatever it was actually, I guess they started in 1288 and they stopped in like 1478. And then the crane was a landmark on the Cologne skyline for 400 years. And then in 1880, they said, we really ought to finish this. And they finished the cathedral.
So you'll go to Cologne, you'll see Heidelberg.
Heidelberg, we will. All the burgs, Nuremberg, Heidelberg,
all the burgs,
Regenberg.
Lots of burgs and castles and old medieval
castles
cities.
On the Rhines.
Yes.
Yes, I'm so excited. And, I want to take pictures. It's all about, for me, traveling. At least half the reason I travel is because I want to take pictures.
So let me ask you a question. How scared are you about getting like a scratch in your camera or something?
No, I don't care about that. No.
Good. Good, because you shouldn't. No, here's the thing. I just ran across an article that is along the lines of some of the things I've talked about a lot. like you have a scratch on the lens, on the front of your lens. Yes, your camera is an investment, but it will not show in your pictures. That's really important. Like, there's no problem. I had a professional lens, an 80-200 2.8. I used that for a couple of years. Had a big scratch on the front element, which wasn't nice looking, but it did not really show in any of the pictures.
Isn't that weird? So it's why?
Well, because the focal point is somewhere completely different, and the magnification goes around that. If you have dust on the lens, like some people are very meticulous in getting all the last little bit of dust away from the front element. Yeah. That does not show on your picture. You can have quite a lot of dust on the lens before it starts showing. Dust in the lens, that's another thing. Dust in the lens, I mean, it's completely the same thing. It will not show. Now, I came across this article. It's by the people of lensrentals.com.
They know because they rent lenses. They know.
And I'm not affiliated with them, but I saw this article. I made a shortcut. If you go to tfttf.com/fly, what they did is they found a fly in a lens that was returned to them. And it's an amazing story because it took them 4 hours to get this fly out. It got into the inner barrel of the lens, even though it's a weather seal lens, which kind of tells you how good a weather sealing on a lens can be if a fly can get in there.
This is the Canon L lens. I have this.
That's
lens.
a 24-105. It's a standard kind of lens.
Great
Many
lens.
people have it. But, from the back, it's open, so everything can get in there. Yeah. So the fly got in there in some way. They took a long time to get it out. But here's the big takeaway, here's the important takeaway. And I have no doubt, I have no reason to doubt them. They write that they took a lot of pictures with that lens at all different focal lengths, at all different focus settings, near and far. Yeah. And in none of those pictures did that fly manifest itself in any way, shape, or form. It was just not visible. Wow. So I just want to make people a bit less worried about their pictures. If you have something on your lens or in the lens, that is not the end of the world. It might be like, it's an investment, and you're kind of worried about getting a scratch on it and it losing value. That kind of, I can understand that, but the image quality will not suffer from these kind of things, not even from a fly in the lens.
Now, one thing I am doing, and my camera's not super expensive. I'm taking a Sony A7S, but one thing I'm going to do, my friend Russell, who's a serious photographer, carries some very good cameras. He says, don't use the strap that came with the camera because that's just an announcement. Steal this camera. So I got a generic strap.
Yeah. Totally.
And then now I don't know if I'm going to do this, but he even tapes up the name Sony and kind of does some ups.
Yeah, I used to do this, like put black electric tape over the names and things. I find that pretty silly actually, because I mean, someone who understands about the value of these things will certainly know what kind of a camera that is.
Yeah, you can tell by the body. You don't have to see the word Sony.
It doesn't, unless you ding it up completely.
Well, and one of the reasons, I think he does actually. I think he distresses it. One of the reasons I'm carrying the Sony is because it doesn't look like a big, expensive professional camera. The mirrorless cameras are compact. They're small. I don't hang it on the side like a pro would. I hang it around my neck like a typical doofus, like a dad. And I'm going to take pictures. And I figured,
like a tourist camera.
I look like a tourist. That nobody's going to steal my camera.
What I will typically do when I'm in a city somewhere, and especially on these cruises, you will get out for like a few hours, so you won't have to carry that camera like for 10 hours in a row.
Yeah, but I still, they're too heavy.
It is, but what you can do is, and then that will make you a faster photographer as well, is just take the strap, wrap it around your wrist for a couple of times, and hold the camera in the hand, because then you have it ready, and it's kind of more ready than if you have it around your neck and you have to take the lens cap off and switch it on. Maybe
I also
leave it on standby.
I bought a nondescript camera bag that could be anything. And I'm not going to carry a bunch of lenses because that defeats the purpose. You know, another thing I've been doing, you probably approve of this. The Sony is a good camera with a full frame sensor. It's a really high quality camera, maybe one of the best out there. But I am shooting RAW, so that I get everything that comes in. But I've set it to show me black and white.
Oh wow!
So this way, I want to think in black and white as I'm taking pictures. Maybe not every day, but for some of these days. The nice thing is because it's shooting raw, when you import it into Lightroom or whatever you use,
you have the color back.
The color's still there. You're not losing any color, but you're thinking in black and white.
That's a pretty good idea. I've done that actually. You know what really helps you there is if you use the live preview, because that will then also show you in black and white, and that can help you understand the black and white world a bit better and get some more ideas about the lines and the contrasts and the structures in the picture as opposed to the colors, which sometimes adds a bit of complication. That's one of the reasons black and white works so well, because it's so reduced.
So I shot these pictures of my wife, and even though it's color for the raw, because I use Google Photos, of course, it's taking the JPEG. And so I see all these great black, and you know what? I'm really happy with these pictures in black and white. For portraits especially, it seems to really, when I look at the color, I don't like it quite as much. There's just something about black and white. I just love it.
Try toning them a bit. That's one of the things you can do. For example, in Lightroom, there's something's called split toning, where you can give like a different tone to the highlights and to the shadows in the picture. Like you could warm up the highlights a bit and give a bit of a bluish tint to the shadows, which makes for a very interesting effect on black and white photos.
Yeah, I look back at my pictures, and almost all of the pictures I love the most are black and white, because I like taking pictures of people. Now, you gave me an assignment. I'm going to try to live up to this, and I'm scared to death. You said take a picture of a local in every city. Oh, man. That means you have to walk up to people and say, can I take a that should be no problem. I'm shy.
Germans speak English.
I'm shy. Now, I know you do this. You do a street photography workshop.
You do the tourist thing. You have the camera around your neck. You will be so non-threatening to people. They will be happy to pose for you.
I would like to take your picture, please. It's for home. It's just for my slideshow at home. Chris Marquardt, discoverthetopfloor.com. I'll fill you in on our assignment. The word is what?
Sweet.
Sweet. I should be able to find a Sachertorte to match that. I'll see you next week. Thanks, Chris. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hey, our show today brought to you by Casper. Oh, I love my Casper mattress. You know I talk about it a lot. I hope I'm not boring you, but I tell you, when you get a good mattress, life changes. You may say, well, Leo, I'm never going to buy a mattress on the internet. How can I test it? Well, you can test it. And in a much better fashion than testing it by going to a mattress showroom and lying on it for 5 minutes while the sales girl gives you the stink eye. No, this is great. You get 100 days or 100 nights to test it. These are great mattresses made in the USA. Premium mattresses, obsessively engineered, latex and memory foam to give you both support and sink and comfort, and a 10-year warranty and a 100-night trial. I think that sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Literally. So here's how it comes in a box, which is amazing. But it was very handy when I got it for my son. In the dorm rooms, it was very easy for him to get to the third floor. He's actually off campus. It was very easy for him to get to the third floor because it comes in a box, and you open it up, and it goes whoosh, and then it's a comfortable mattress. Lie in it for 100 nights. If you, for any reason, you don't like it, don't worry. They will take it back at no cost to you. They'll come and get it, no charge. And you won't have to pay for it. So 100 days risk-free is a great deal. Try that mattress out in your home. $500 for a twin, $950 for the king size. That's a great price for a premium mattress. But I'm going to save you an additional $50 when you go to Casper, CASPER.com/techguy, and use the offer code TechGuy. $50 off your new Casper mattress. For a guest room, for your kids going off to school, for a new apartment, for just because you're not crazy about your bed. Get a bed that loves you back. Get a Casper, 100-night, no-hassle return policy, a 10-year warranty, and the best mattress you've ever had. You feel better. The whole world looks brighter when you have slept well on your Casper. Casper.com/techguy. Use the promo code TechGuy and get $50 off. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Happy Father's Day to you all. 8888. Ask Leo's the number. Drew is on the line from Ventura. Hey, Drew, are you still there? Oh, I pushed the button twice. That's a old double tap. You know what they call that? Here's a little interesting fact. Drew, call back. What do I got now? I got something weird going on. Okay. This is a problem with keyboards, computer keyboards. And so all computer software, all computers have some technology to do something called debounce. Because it would otherwise be the case without debouncing that you would often double type letters as you hit the keyboard. Just a little bounce, that switch hits twice, and you got 2 Ks. So a little debouncing. I wish I had some on this phone. Vicky is in Temecula. Hi, Vicky.
Hi.
Hi.
So I got you next.
And Drew is back, so I'll take line 2 next. Okay. What can I do for you, Vicky?
I work at home, and my base is I'm in California, they're in Connecticut.
Okay.
So they upgraded our system and added McAfee. Well, before that, I could save all of my passwords to all the vendors I go into every day.
Uh-huh.
And since they added McAfee, I can't get any of my vendor passwords and quotes and passwords and account numbers to save anymore. It asks me to save it, and I say yes every time, but every time I go back into it, nothing saves.
Let me ask you, when you say save my password, where do you mean?
Well, when I go into a vendor, like,
I know. The browser saves it.
Yes.
Which browser are you using? Internet Explorer. If you don't know, it's Internet Explorer. Because you're in Windows, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. If you don't know, it's the default browser. So I would guess that what's going on, when browsers save passwords, it's not super secure. The browser keeps the password. In the case of Internet Explorer, I think it keeps it in the registry, and it keeps it unencrypted, so that if somebody had access to your system, they could read it. I'm guessing. I don't know if McAfee does this by default. I'm not a fan of McAfee, but you have to use it. The workplace demands it.
And I also have VPN. I have to.
Yeah, because you have to get to the. Yeah, that's right. That's because you're going to the Connecticut servers and then going out to the internet. It's just like you're at work, but you're not, which is great.
Okay.
But
it is great.
Yeah,
I can't
but
move to Connecticut.
I think what happened is work. I don't think this is a McAfee feature. I think work turned that off because it's insecure.
Okay. All right.
So there's you can do that in Windows with group policy. You could say don't save into the browser because it's not secure. McAfee might have a setting to do that as well.
Okay. I just noticed it after they installed that, and I thought, and then I even went into our IT help people because we
What
have
did they say?
a whole slew of them.
Yeah.
And I said, why? How come all my?
How come I can't save into my passwords in the browser? What'd they say?
They said, well, I don't think you've been able to do that. And I said, yeah, I did.
No, we turned that off 4 years ago, lady. Okay, so you were getting around it, or maybe it just took, or whatever. So did they have advice for you as to how to save your password safely?
No, they said they didn't know how to do it.
What morons. So they turned off, which is frankly a very perfectly adequate way of doing this, because who's going to have access to your computer? It's not a laptop, right?
No, it's at home.
And you don't take it out of the house. So somebody would have to break into your home to get these passwords. But IT departments, this is very common. They don't want you to do it. Well, we don't think that's secure. But it is incumbent on them, if they turn off that, to give you a secure way to save them.
Yeah, well, they didn't, they just said, no, there was no way to do that. And I said, well, I used to be able to. And they said, well,
what do they want you to do? Put it on a Post-it note on the screen?
Yes, I do.
That's better. Thank goodness they prevented that insecure Internet Explorer password saving. Sometimes I have to wonder.
I'm going to call Leo, and maybe he'll be able to help me, and I'll be able to override this.
Maybe you can. You could probably remove McAfee. You might even be able to override it. I'm not going to recommend you do that because it's their computer. They want you to do it their way.
Right.
So,
and I kind of figured that, but I thought,
you could get around it. Just search for McAfee removal, and if it was McAfee that'll turn it off. I don't think it is. I think it's actually something the IT department was supposed to do, obviously forgot to do, and then they suddenly remembered, and they fixed your computer. What I would do is continue what you're doing. Maybe better get a notebook and write it in a notebook and put it in a drawer so it's not just right on the screen with a Post-it note. But a Post-it note's okay. I mean, nobody's getting into your house.
Oh, so, and I did buy a notebook, and I am going to start doing that. It's irritating because before I could just put like the beginning letter and it would just pop in, you know?
Yeah, well, there are programs that will do that. I don't know if they prevent that or not. I use LastPass, and I recommend it highly. For normal users, you might ask the IT department, okay, since you disabled password saving in my browser, would you mind if I used a password vault called LastPass? And if they're intelligent, they will say, oh, that's great. We want you to use LastPass. LastPass is free just to use on your computer. Every time you give it a password, first thing LastPass will do, and you'll love this, it'll take all the passwords out of Internet Explorer that you put there and put it in LastPass. Okay. So, and it will automatically fill them in. If you create a new password, or if they don't already have the password, they'll put a little red bar up that says, save this site. You say yes, and it'll do exactly what you want, which is the next time you get there, there'll be a little asterisk on the field, and then you can select it, and it'll fill in the field. You don't have to even type the first letter.
Oh, that sounds cool.
It's much better. And LastPass is secure. You will have to create and remember, or put it on a Post-it note or put it in your drawer, a master password that will let you get into your LastPass. But
they make passwords every 3 months.
Yeah, so LastPass is great because it'll automatically do that and record it.
Okay, cool. So, all right, I'm going to call them tomorrow and find out if that is okay.
You could just go to LastPass.com and try it and see if it works.
Okay.
And unless they're explicitly blocking it, it'll work. And the first thing LastPass will do is say, "Oh, I see you have passwords stored in Internet Explorer. Would you like me to copy? That's insecure. Would you like me to copy them to my secure encrypted storage?" And you say yes. The key though is, remember, you need to remember one password. Don't make it monkey 1 2 3. Make it something you can really remember. That's hard. That's kind of random.
Oh, I've been doing this for 25 years, so passwords are clicking in my head all the time.
Of course they are. The nice thing is LastPass encourages you to have a good, strong, unique password for every site instead of duplicating. People duplicate because they can remember.
Yeah.
LastPass encourages you to say, oh, no, I'm going to have a 25-character, completely random password that's a good, strong password. This is what the IT department should have done, by the way. This is what we do at my company. I have LastPass Enterprise. Everybody at my company uses LastPass for the passwords. And I also say, and I will buy you the personal version as well if you wish to use it, because I want to encourage you to do it. Now, it's free for you. If you're just using it on your desktop, it's free. The personal version, the purchased version, allows you to do it on a smartphone and other places. But you just want that one computer to do it, so that's free.
Okay. Thank you, Leo.
You're welcome. I think you're going to like this better. In fact, I tell everybody, use LastPass. LastPass.com.
I will. I'm going to call tomorrow.
Good.
Okay.
Good. If they've got any sense, which I can't promise you they do, but if they have any sense at all, they'll say, "Oh yes, who told you about that? That's great. We'd love you to do that."
And I'll say, "Leo Laporte did."
And they'll say, "Oh, who's that? Oh, that tech guy. Oh, I hate him. He disses us all the time." Hey, thanks for the call. It's a great question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. By the way, some people who will say, "Oh, no, I saw in the news that LastPass was hacked." Let me talk about that a little bit. That's okay. LastPass is so good. They did everything right. They do recommend, if you're a LastPass user, you change your master password. That's all you have to do. I would turn on, if you're a LastPass user, second factor. That means you'll put a password, an authenticating program on your smartphone, or there's a variety of ways to do it, so that when you log into your LastPass, it'll say, the first time on any browser, it'll say, okay, I need that authentication code. You give them that. That unlocks the browser. You won't have to do it again. It's such a great service. It's $1 a month if you do the paid service, so it's still very affordable. And the hack nobody's private information was in any way compromised by LastPass because they don't have access to it. You, and only you can unlock your stuff. So that's good news. But just to be prudent, LastPass said, hey, we just think it's a good idea, so change your master password. That's a good idea to do that periodically anyway. Passwords, what a nightmare. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Let's take a break, come back with lots more good stuff right after this. Well, Hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, cell phones, home theater, smartwatches. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the number. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Outside that area, just Skype us. 8888 Ask Leo. And that should be free. Because it's a toll-free number, right? Let's get back to the phone. Shortest night of the year. I like that. Longest day, shortest night of the year. Summer solstice today. Father's Day, too. Hope you're celebrating in some nice form or fashion. Drew's on the line from Ventura Beach. Hi, Drew.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great. Welcome.
Yes, I would say here in Ventura, they get, right on the beach. They got it actually marked on the pavement where summer and winter solstice is with a line to the sunset.
Oh, that's nice. So you get when the sun sets right along that line, you know.
It's the furthest over to the right today, and then it's going to start to move to the left if you're looking off the coast. So.
That's what always gets me depressed. I guess I'm a half-empty kind of guy because I think longest day of the year means the days are going to start getting shorter now.
Yeah, so I'm going to go back the other way.
I should just enjoy it, shouldn't I? Be in the present.
There you go.
What can I do for you?
So I just went on a trip, and I took about 1,000 photos on my iPhone.
Nice. On your iPhone. Wow.
Yeah. And I want to get them so my family members can see them, but most of them aren't too tech savvy.
Right. Now, if
for a way to
Apple makes this easy, if everybody's Apple.
They are not. I know it's easy, but they're not.
Yeah, but that makes me mad because Apple, not everybody in the world is Apple. So they have really nice photo sharing capability with iCloud, and you can invite people. You could set up a folder that, for Aunt Maud, and it's automatically updated. And, you can go on and on, but it has to be on a Mac.
Right.
So actually, though, they could surf to it, but I got a better way. And in fact, I think it's better than iCloud, is Google Photos. Have you played with the new Google Photos?
I did Google Photos because I didn't have enough room for 1,000 photos on my phone before I left. So I basically backed up all my photos to Google Photos as a backup. So
Nice.
I have room on my iPhone.
So now, because you have, and this is, by the way, this only came out 2 or 3 weeks ago, Google gives you unlimited free sharing. Unlimited free storage for all your photos from 16 megapixels or less, and that's every phone, because you have an 8-megapixel camera, that's everything from your iPhone. Videos, too. You can create a folder. What I would do is create a folder, but you can also they have all sorts of fun things. You can create slideshows and stuff. I plan to do this for my trip, just like you, and I'm 1,000. I'll probably have 5 times that, because I overshoot.
Yeah, that's what I did too.
All the time. But it's fun because it'll make these little photo albums automatically, but you can also make them manually now. You can add music to it, and then you can share it. So you could make a slideshow and share it, or if you want to be lazy and just say, I want them to see all 1,000 pictures, you can do that also.
Right. So the way I get onto it is I use my Google Plus password.
Right.
How do they see it?
On every collection, you'll see a share button. Okay? And you can get a shareable link, which you can email to them, but you can also share it on Facebook or Twitter or Google+. But if you just want to send them a link in email, now I press the Get Shared link. I can take this link. I can give it to them. They don't, as far as I know, they do not have to log in to Google+ even to use this. They just click the link, and they're going to get, if you did a slideshow, they'll get the slideshow. I would do a little organization, maybe made some albums or whatever. You can share album by album. Boy, it's great.
Okay.
I'm a huge fan now of this. I feel like Google has really scooped everybody with this, and nobody really expected it. You can also, you can do this if you go to iCloud.com, you can use your iCloud photos and share it that way too. I just feel like this is better, to be honest with you. And unlimited, you don't have to pay for storage, right? So, I mean, Apple, after 5 gigabytes, you got to start paying for it. And Apple does not make it cheap.
And I had like 10 gigs worth of photos on my phone already.
Right.
And I'm like, I need some space, and that allowed me to free up a lot of space. So it helped out.
Yeah, isn't that nice? Apple does that now, too, with iCloud photo sharing. If you turn on iCloud Drive, it's actually kind of cool. It will keep smaller versions on your phone, larger versions on your iPad, the largest versions on your computer, and it will keep track of your free space and make sure your phone doesn't get filled up. This is kind of Apple's thing. You don't have to think about it. We just do it automatically. I think I want to have a little more control than that. So I like Google Photos. I think Google Photos is just...
Plus people that just have a Windows PC.
This is so much easier for them.
To get into
Yeah. I think this is the best way.
I didn't know you could email links out of Google Photos. So that definitely helps me.
Yeah. Yeah, just there's a share button everywhere on Google Photos. And that's the big difference. You know, when it was Google Plus, they only wanted you to share it with Google Plus. And Google, I think, has realized that really nobody wants to use Google Plus, and people want to use their existing social networks, so you can now. So you share it on Facebook. I think probably that's what I'll do, is I'll do these photo albums. I'll share them with family and friends on Facebook. I'll make a few collections, maybe some music, slideshows. What I want to do, and I think I'm going to do, and I think this is kind of fun, is not just take still pictures, but shoot short video clips as well. And that will all go up to Google Photos. You know, you'll want to do it where you have free bandwidth. You don't want to do it with expensive international bandwidth, but it'll all go up to Google Photos when we get on the Wi-Fi, or maybe not even until we get home, but once we get home. And then I can make little slideshows that include video and stills, put some music behind it. I think that's going to be fun. And, of course, I'll never do it because it's too much work, and I just got home and I'm tired. So that's the other thing. Anything that does it kind of automatically, that's got my vote. Alan in Houston, Texas. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Alan.
Hey, Leo. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, we're keeping busy over the weekend. I had a question about the new Windows 10 when it comes out. Now that we got the new launch date, and it's all set up for the auto update,
July 29th.
So my question is that I'd like to go ahead and take some existing systems that I have, and I want to go in with like a D-band boot nuke or
just wipe that drive.
And start from scratch. So I'm kind of wondering, have you heard anything about how they're going to do the installation? Are they going to let you download like an ISO, or do they have anything planned that you've heard of?
Yeah, Gabe All, who has become the front man for Microsoft, he tweets all the time, says, yes, there will be a clean install upgrade for everybody, but he hasn't really explained exactly how it's going to go. My friend Paul Thurrott, who writes a great blog about Windows at Thurrott, THURROTT.com, has an article in which he talks about clean install activation, clean install options. It says, Microsoft says, you will be able to clean install to Windows 10 during and after the free upgrade offer. So what you'll do is you'll download an ISO. You know what an ISO is? It's a disk image.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you'll download an ISO, and you can then put it on a USB drive, make a bootable, and I would do this, by the way, make a bootable version of Windows on a USB drive. You could use a DVD, too. You will want to save the key, because you'll have a key, and you'll use that to activate it, and it'll be just as if you bought Windows from now on. So I think this is great. I appreciate it. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, and absolutely, the person who's saying don't make this your only copy of your photos, I agree 100%. Probably should have told that guy that. Photos does recompress them. But they do a very good job, I might add. It's not like Facebook where they trash your photos. And I keep my originals, of course. I use Lightroom and I keep my originals. I have it backed up here, have it backed up on the transporter, have it backed up there, have it on OneDrive. I have copies of my copies. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo. Somebody's mentioning, and this is a good point, we were talking about Google's photos, which, man, must have just scared Apple and everybody else. Flickr, whew, by doing something totally amazing. Photos.google.com. It's free for the iPhone and the Android phone. They have an uploader you can put on your desktop that will upload all your images. Now, it's free if you have 16 megapixels or less, which all camera phone images are 16 or less, almost all. And 16 is probably fine even for your high-quality images. But they do compress it additionally, although I have to say Google's compression seems very minor. Somebody pointed out, though, you probably should keep a copy of the originals somewhere, and I would agree. But it's a great backup. And, if you lost the originals, it wouldn't be the end of the world. You would still have these Google Photos. But what's most amazing is that they then apply all sorts of algorithmic tricks to these photos to sort them, to organize them. I can do the most amazing searches on here. And it's kind of mind-boggling. I did the other day, I remembered that from many moons ago I'd had a picture, or actually a video of my son reading for the first time. This would have been 2004, I think, or 2005. And I just tried typing reading into the search. I thought, well, oh my goodness, it found the video of my son reading for the first time in 30,000 pictures. This is a video I shot a long time ago. And it was such a wonderful, serendipitous find. And after that, it was like, all right, I love you, Google. You win. I'm giving you everything. It will take pictures and enhance them. It will take pictures and make animated GIFs or photo montages or entire storylines. It's all automatic, all behind the scenes. Face recognition is built in as well. So if you go to photos.google.com and you've uploaded your photos there, if you click the little magnifying glass, you'll see they've already taken people's pictures and sorted them. So I can see every one of the pictures of individuals in my family and others, and they do an amazing job. It's incredible. So I got to say, given that it's free, I'm not saying give up anything else. I would encourage you to make backups of the originals, but given that it's free, you'd be crazy not to take advantage of this. And then there are people saying, well, then Google gets all your photos. Yeah, and? Well, then, they could do something with them. Yeah, like what? They're not going to sell them. What do you mean? Well, they could they deny you insurance because they saw you eating a donut. Okay, fine. I'll take that chance. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. Theo is in West Hills. Hi, Theo.
Hey, Leo. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I am calling because I got a question for you about laptops, inexpensive laptops versus, Chromebook or a netbook or maybe even a Surface. My daughter wants to get a laptop. She's got about $500, and I'm really not sure what direction to advise her in.
So I love Chromebooks. She has. What does she have right now?
We have a Dell.
Okay. So she's used to Windows.
Yes.
The thing about Chromebooks, besides the low price, is they're secure. You can't really get into much trouble. Now, they're not going to be good for gaming, but anything you could do with a Chrome browser, you can do, and that is actually quite a bit. I'm a big fan of the Chromebook for people who, when I ask people, well, what do you want to do? When they say surf the net, do email, that's when I say Chromebook.
Okay.
So that's a good choice.
I assume it's all of the Chrome, the Google Docs and all that kind of stuff works through it.
Yeah. So you got a WordPress. Yeah, it's great. It's cloud focused. And, Microsoft did a bunch of ads saying, see, you can't use the Chromebook if you're not connected. It is true that for the most part, you want to be online if you're going to use the Chromebook. But all the Chromebook stuff, email and docs and everything, have offline versions. So there's some small storage, typically 16 gigabytes. Small. Isn't that funny how that's small storage nowadays? There's some small storage on the Chromebook. They have an offline version. So I put the offline Gmail and docs on there. That way, if I get on a plane, I still have access to all of that stuff.
Okay.
There are other choices out there, though. I mean, the Surface 3 starts at $500. That does not include a keyboard. It's really a tablet. If you want to add a keyboard, that's another $120. But so it's more expensive. And HP makes very inexpensive Windows notebooks, the Stream series. They're colorful, they're pretty, they're only a couple $100. Same price as a Chromebook. I think HP wants to kind of get in that market.
Okay. Is that running Windows?
Yeah, that's full Windows.
Wow.
But see, sometimes I think full Windows is more than you want. That's not a good thing.
Right.
Because then you have to worry about viruses. It's just more complicated.
On the Surface, on the cheapest one, it's 64 gigs. So I'm wondering how much of that space is taken up by the OS.
Good question. I think it's 8 or 9.
Okay.
64 gigs is plenty.
Okay.
People don't need all that much storage unless you start storing a lot of photos, like hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of photos or music or video. But word processing, the kind of stuff a student would do, does not take up much space.
Okay.
I'm actually a fan of the Chromebook. I've been very happy with it. The only problem with both the HP Stream and the Chromebook, because these are so inexpensive, they tend not to be the best hardware. You know, the trackpads are not, they're kind of not perfect. The keyboards are not, when you get really good hardware, you feel it, it's just solid. It looks good. It works well. It will probably last longer with fewer problems. But on the other hand, you're going to spend 4 times as much. So, if it's a student and you're limited, I think there's some very good choices. Somebody's sending me a link to, thank you, DG Murdoch, in our chat room, the Dell Inspiron. They have a 15-inch touchscreen for about $400, a little under $400. That's a good choice. But again, anything under $500, there's going to be compromises in the hardware.
Right.
And it typically is on the screen. It's the things you use the most: the screen, the keyboard, and the trackpad. But that's where they save. I think there's nothing. What does she want? Where is she going to school? What's she going to be studying?
She doesn't know yet.
Yeah, of course not. Well, she shouldn't. She's just beginning.
She's 17.
Yeah. How would you know? I've never understand how they expect nowadays at many colleges for you to declare a major before you get in. Well, that's the point of going to the college, is to figure out what you want to do. You don't know.
Yeah, there's still a lot to discover.
Yeah, I want to be a fireman. But that was when I was 8. So maybe.
Yeah, she had been leaning towards the Surface, and I'd heard about the Chromebooks from you.
I think both are great. The Surface, if she really needs full Windows and wants it, the Surface is going to be more, because you're going to remember, even the Surface 3, the least expensive one, starts at $500. You add a keyboard,
right?
And it's still more tablet-y than laptop-y. But if she wants Windows, you can't go wrong. I think Microsoft's done a great job. Good luck. That's so great. That's exciting. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Jesus makes a good one. There are good choices out there, and I'd say closer to 500 is always better. Yeah, I'm spoiled because I only buy high, pro grade. I never get consumer grade stuff, and when I review consumer grade stuff, I always go, I don't know how people live with this, because it feels cheap. Is this your nomination, Dathan, for Summer Song 2015? I like it. See, we're looking. I just read an article, I can't remember where, but there's this, the whole thing, every artist makes a song to come out, in May, hoping it'll be the hit of the summer. And Carly Rae Jepsen's Call Me Maybe 2 years ago. Last year it was that Robin Thicke's, Alan's his dad, Robin Thicke's song that he stole from Marvin Gaye. I don't know. I don't think we have a strong candidate. Maybe California Roll. Maybe. That you can't go wrong when you got Pharrell, Stevie Wonder, and Snoop all in one song. That's Heather's pick. 8888 Ask Leo. We're talking tech is what we're really doing here. And Irene is on the line from San Diego. Hi, Irene.
Hi, Leo. Thank you for taking my call. My husband convinced me to call you because I think I'm driving myself crazy, and Adobe is driving me crazy. I downloaded Adobe 11 Writer on my Windows 7 computer, and that was the end of the support. Absolutely. I have a problem when I download a PDF from an email. The only thing that I get on the menu bar is create, tool, sign, comment.
You have the distiller. You have the creator, not the reader.
But I'll tell you.
You paid money for it, right?
Of course I did.
Yeah. Okay. So what did you want to do? You wanted to read PDFs, or did you want to do more than that?
I want to be able to save as and not have to save to a printer. So what I looked at by mistake yesterday, after suffering with this for about 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I actually hovered over there's a bar on top of the create and all these little icons, and it's whited out. If you actually, by mistake, I saw, if I hold my cursor over there, I do see the file, edit, view, window, help, but it's whited out. It's a very strange problem.
I wonder why that is.
Yeah, so I've been with Adobe, on the forums. Some staff member emailed me. Nobody can solve it. My IT guy I work remotely. He didn't know what to do.
So you bought the full Acrobat.
I have Acrobat Pro.
Yeah,
Adobe 11.
You spent some money on that puppy.
I did, and it works fine on my Windows 8 laptop, but on this one...
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on there. Goodness gracious. Good golly, Miss Molly. You already have it running on another computer.
I do, but I have license for 2.
Yeah, you do.
Yes.
So you were able to give it the serial number and it activated?
Absolutely. It's activated. It's absolutely activated, and it's just not doing the same thing it's supposed to do. And I'm just wondering, this might be another related problem, because at the same time, when it sounds connected, maybe. When I open a new tab in Chrome and I go to a website, I cannot highlight it and cut it and paste it.
Interesting. Interesting. So you're in Chrome and you're looking at the address bar, and when you click in the address bar, it doesn't highlight it?
Nope. I cannot highlight it.
You can't drag your mouse across it?
I cannot. I can drag my mouse across it, but nothing happens.
Yeah, so that's not good. So there is something going on.
Yes.
That sounds like it's more than just Adobe Acrobat. It sounds like there is something odd about your system.
Mm-hmm.
So the things you can do on your laptop with both Acrobat and Chrome, you can't do on your desktop.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Some weird setting, I just can't figure it out, and it's driving me. You limp along, and then you can't take it.
I know, exactly. And, I kind of encourage people not to limp along. We all put up with little niggling annoyances with technology, and I'm like everybody else. I go, well, okay, I'll fix it one of these days.
Yeah,
but I think it's
impeding my work process.
And this is true even if you create a new PDF that's your own. It's not just the PDFs you're getting in the mail. You create a new PDF and you still can't do it.
If I create a new PDF from the Acrobat, that's fine. It's just like if I want to download from saying
Well, some PDFs are locked. Not all PDFs can be opened.
This is everyone.
Or edited. No, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I sent Adobe a screenshot of they're impossible. Once you bought the product, the support is non-existent.
I am not sure what's wrong. I think I'm going to help. I'm going to join the Adobe crowd and say, I don't know. At least you didn't give me any money. I am not sure what's going on there. Now, if all you wanted to do was save to PDF, there are little free extensions. You can do that instead of printing. And certainly if you want to open PDFs, you don't need anything like Acrobat.
Right.
But if you wanted to create PDFs or fill in forms,
I do that. I have
annotate them. Yeah, if you're a realtor, for instance, there's documents. You want to do that kind of thing. I could see why you'd spend a couple $100 on Acrobat.
Mm-hmm.
Did you subscribe or did you buy it?
I bought it, downloaded. I didn't buy the cloud thing.
All right, that's $450. You spent $450 smackers and they're not helping you?
No, I didn't buy that one. I think, but I had Acrobat 9, and then right before they went to that.
Oh, you upgraded. I get it.
I upgraded. And so it wasn't. It was expensive, but I needed
not $450. Yeah. A lot of people do because this is kind of the default way we do documents. I am just baffled. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. And I'm looking to see if the chat room has any thoughts. I feel like it could be. Chrome is not behaving either, and I do feel like those are. Have any other weird issues with text?
Yeah. No, those two cannot paste copy and paste a URL. I used to be able to just highlight it,
That's so weird.
And then the same thing, and white it out. The menu bar. Yesterday I actually found the way to save as, because I just by mistake hovered over a top blank bar, and all of a sudden there it is. There's file, but it's not. You don't see it unless you.
So let me walk through the workflow just to make sure. And mostly it's not for me; it's for the people listening who maybe have an idea. You save PDF files. You get them from a variety of sources, your email or the web.
Email.
Email. And you save them to the desktop as something.pdf.
Or my Dropbox or whatever.
Dropbox. And then you open it with Adobe Acrobat.
Right.
You can see the PDF.
Yeah.
But you can't, and the file menu is grayed out or disabled.
White.
Yeah.
Absolutely white. I can actually, I just found out, as I said yesterday, if I go up there, I can click on file, though you don't see it, and then you've got these little icons, and then I see save, and then I have to go over there, and I can actually figure this workaround yesterday, but it's not like...
Have you tried uninstalling, reinstalling, all the usual?
Yesterday.
Yeah. It is possible you have something odd on your system. There's a couple of things I would do proactively. I'm not saying it's malware, but just in case.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first things you do is you hit the Windows key and the letter R simultaneously. Windows key R. That'll open a run box, and you could type. Microsoft has this thing on your system called the Microsoft Malicious Malware Removal Tool, or MRT. And if you type, so Windows R MRT.
MRT.
And hit return, it'll open up a program that you don't even see on your program menu. Do a thorough scan. That will find any known malware on your system. And that would be the first thing I would do, because it does sound like something's going on odd on your system. A browser hijacker object or a toolbar that got installed that maybe is making other things misbehave. But to be honest, none of this sounds familiar. And I just don't have an answer for you. I'm sorry. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, one thing you're going to want to do maybe is try this, in a different profile. Log out and log into somebody else. If you don't have another profile, create one now and then log out and log in there. See if the same thing is going on. I have no idea. Well, yeah, I hate to play them. I agree with you, Batman. I don't want to play the malware card but something's gone on. And because Adobe Acrobat is tightly tied to the browser, I don't know why it would be disabled. And what's weird is Adobe doesn't either. That's why I think it's something unusual, like a malware on our system or a browser hijacker or something. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888. Ask Leo's the phone number. Hope you're having a great Father's Day, dads out there. We, as a dad, I know how hard it is sometimes to be a father, but it's also the best thing ever, isn't it? Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Xenia is on the line from Inglewood, California. Hi, Xenia.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So my question is, I leave to Eritrea, Africa next month.
Are you going to the Peace Corps, or what you doing?
My family's having a wedding.
Oh, wow. So they're there in Eritrea?
Yes.
Wow. How exciting.
Yeah, it's my first time, too. I'm really excited.
Oh, I'm jealous. I'd love to see that. Wow.
Yeah, so I still wanted my phone with me, like to take pictures. And
Sure.
So how does that, I don't want to get billed.
So my daughter just went to Spain for a month to study Spanish. Same thing. I'll give you the same lecture I gave her, okay?
Okay.
First of all, the most expensive thing is data roaming.
Data roaming.
Yeah. So go in your phone, and any phone, whether it's a Android or iPhone or whatever, you'll go in your settings. Usually it's in the cellular section of it, and turn off data roaming. That means you won't get international data.
So turn that off before I go?
Before you go, and turn it back on when you get back. Now, the disadvantage of that is your maps won't work. Texts will work. Phone calls will work. And by the way, those will still be expensive. So if you want to do that, you might want to check with your carrier. And who's your carrier?
T-Mobile.
Oh, that's another matter entirely.
I know.
I don't know if it works in Eritrea, however. So they work in many countries because T-Mobile's owned by the German company Deutsche Telekom.
Okay.
So they do something nobody else in the U.S. does, which is offer unlimited international texting. So you can text home or anybody. Don't have to think about it. Inexpensive calling, although you can buy an even less expensive plan. And they have data. Now, the data is not super fast, but it's data, and it's unlimited and it's free.
Right.
And depending on where you are. Now, what you have to do is go to the T-Mobile page and check and see which countries it supports. I don't know if it supports the place you're going.
Okay, because I did call them, and they asked me to choose a certain plan.
Now this is without choosing any plan. I'm going to Germany next week, and I'm going to take my T-Mobile phones. I love that, but I don't know. I'm going to look and see.
So how does as far as Instagram and Snapchat?
All of that will work just slowly.
Oh, okay.
Slowly.
Like to where it doesn't work at all.
Yeah. Well, no, you just have to be more patient.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just, I don't know if Eritrea is. Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Right.
So make another call to them. Say, I know about your free international plan. Is Eritrea covered?
Okay.
If it isn't, then they do have international plans. If you don't get an international plan, whatever you do, you must turn off data roaming.
Okay, so then with the international plan, what would be best?
Well, you kind of have to think about how much data you're going to use.
Right.
You may not be making phone calls. If you don't.
Yeah, I just care about the data.
Yeah, but that's me too. I told my daughter, don't call me for Father's Day. Because that's expensive. But so the free texting would be great if it works on T-Mobile there. Mm-hmm. And the slow data would be okay. You can order, you can call them and say, I want better. And it sounds like they're saying to you, you might need to do that. So you should look at your phone, and it'll tell you somewhere on your usage. You got an iPhone?
Yes.
Yeah. So go in the usage area in the general settings and see how much data you used last month, or look on your phone bill.
I'm unlimited with everything.
Yeah, but see how much you used, because that's what you're going to need to know.
Right.
Because then you're going to go for a week. How long are you going?
A month.
Oh, so you want to see how much you use on a typical month.
Okay.
And you probably won't want to use that much if it's 3 or 4 gigabytes. Because you have to pay. It's a lot more expensive.
Yes, it is.
The other choice to have is when you get to Eritrea is to go to the local phone company there and get what we call a MiFi card. It's a little 3G MiFi. It's a credit card sized 3G or LTE card that gets data from the local phone company. Usually you can buy it so that it's unlimited, just like you have at home. And then it's a Wi-Fi access point. Then you turn off data on your phone. Don't want to do international data roaming. That's really, really expensive. That's the thing that'll really bite you. But just use it as Wi-Fi. And, of course, it's free to use Wi-Fi. So at the hotel, at your family's house, wherever you are that has Wi-Fi, that's fine. Use it, then Instagram like crazy. So what I do is I take the pictures and I save them till I'm at Wi-Fi, and then I Instagram.
Yeah, is it the same with pictures as well? Or
yeah.
When you use your camera, you're just using...
No, camera, you can take pictures all you want.
Okay.
That doesn't use data. And the thing is, to prevent you from accidentally using data, like going out and getting mail or uploading pictures by, to your iCloud or whatever, turn off data roaming. That means what you're telling the phone is whatever you do, when we're in Eritrea, do not use data.
Right. Because then that's how you get charged.
That's the one that could be $10,000.
Right. Okay.
So that's the most important one to turn off.
I will definitely remember.
And if you do want data, and T-Mobile's not giving you free data there, and I just don't know, you could buy data from them. Cheapest thing to do if you want data wherever you go is to buy a little MiFi card. You charge it up every night.
Okay.
You put it in your pocket or your purse, and that gives you Wi-Fi. Your phone uses that Wi-Fi, and it's using the local Eritrean telephone network for data.
Okay.
And that's usually not very expensive, maybe $30 or $40 a month.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you, Leo.
Have a great trip.
Thank Thank you so much.
All right. See you later. Wow, that sounds like fun. This is and see, the problem is your smartphones, they're connecting to the net all the time, and you don't care normally because you have unlimited data, right? Or you're on Wi-Fi. But your email, Dropbox, you got all sorts of stuff that's always going online. So what you want to do, all you have to do, you go into the settings and you say don't do data roaming, and then you're okay. Then you don't have to worry. But you're also disconnecting your phone unless you're on Wi-Fi. So you have to figure that out. With AT&T, my daughter's on AT&T, and AT&T has now you subscribe for 1 month. And they have different levels, and it's actually a pretty sensible thing. You get unlimited texting, you get fairly inexpensive, I think 35 cents a minute calls, and you get a certain amount of data for a price. And you push a button; it's very easy. So AT&T has actually figured this out well. Man, once again we have wounded the thing up. I'm going on vacation for a little bit. But don't worry, we've got all new tech guys for you. I recorded 4 shows ahead of time, brand new material, new questions, new answers, visits from all of our favorites. So please keep listening to the Tech Guy podcast this week and every week. I will see you back live in studio on July 18th. Oh, man, have a great 4th of July. Have a great couple of weeks. I'll see you in a little bit. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Bye-bye. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. I'm Leo Laporte. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, the Tech Guy is just the tip of the iceberg. We do nearly 30 shows now on the Twit Netcast Network, and you'll find them all at twit.tv. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on Mac Break Weekly, iPad on iPad Today. You get your daily dose of tech news from Tech News Today, and our weekly roundtable show, This Week in Tech. It's all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next time with another great Tech Guy podcast. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.